24 days. That is all the time Jackson Koivun had spent as a professional golfer when he stood on the 18th green at the 3M Open, staring down a 13-foot putt with the number one ranked golfer on the planet, Scottie Scheffler, waiting to see if he would crack. He did not crack. He made history instead. On Sunday, July 26, 2026, at TPC Twin Cities in Blaine, Minnesota, the 21-year-old rookie captured his first PGA Tour victory in only his third professional start, finishing at a tournament record 25 under par 259 and defeating Scottie Scheffler by 3 strokes. All afternoon, the crowd around him chanted a warning. Jackson Koivun described it himself after the round. All throughout the crowd, I kept hearing, "Scottie's coming, Scottie's coming," he said. I just tried to tune that out and keep playing the golf I knew I could. The golf he knew he could play turned out to be better than anything the 3M Open had ever seen. This is the complete story of how a young man in his first month on the job took down the best golfer in the world, and why the people closest to him always believed this day was coming. To understand what happened in Minnesota, you have to go back to where Jackson Koivun's story began. He was born in 2005 in San Jose, California, and he got his start in the game on a public 9-hole golf course. There were no country club privileges and no exclusive academies at the beginning. Just a kid, a public course, and a father who loved the game. When Jackson Koivun was 17 years old, the family moved across the country to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and the golf world would soon learn his name. The Koivun family is small. Jackson Koivun is the only child of George Koivun and Megan Koivun, and both parents played very different but equally important roles in his development. It was his father, George Koivun, who introduced him to golf in the first place. His mother, Megan Koivun, became his most constant witness. "I've probably watched him play golf more than anyone," Megan Koivun explained to ESPN. "To this day, I can still read him like a book. I just got to know his game. I knew what he needed and wanted, the good signs and the bad signs." His father remembers the exact moment he realized his son was different from other junior golfers. It was not one swing or one shot. It was the winning. "Our job was to get him to tournaments because he just kept winning," George Koivun told ESPN. "The minute I felt like he got to the top, he just kept getting better. That pattern, reaching the top and then somehow improving anyway, would repeat itself at every level of the sport." The college coaches noticed early too. Nick Clenard, the head men's golf coach at Auburn University, first met Jackson Koivun at a youth camp and tracked him through his junior career in Northern California. "We knew as a young kid, a small kid, but we knew he was a winner right from the get-go," Clenard told Golf Channel. "He was just a guy that shot under par a ton, and he was just, like I said, he was a winner. And he came to a camp at a young age, and we just got to know him and his family over the years. And lucky enough, he chose Auburn, and I think the rest is history." The rest was not just history. It was one of the greatest college golf careers ever recorded. At Auburn University, Jackson Koivun won 11 college tournaments, the most in Auburn history, and tied for 7th in National Collegiate Athletic Association history. He spent 56 weeks ranked number 1 in the World Amateur Golf Ranking, the 3rd longest run in the history of that ranking. He became the first player ever to capture all 3 National Player of the Year awards. The Haskins Award, the Hogan Award, and the Nicklaus Award twice, he broke the National Collegiate Athletic Association career record for per-round stroke average at 68.89, and in his final act as a college player, he led Auburn University to the national championship. Coach Nick Clenard saw more than trophies. He saw the makeup of a future star. "He's a phenomenal young man," Clenard said via Golf Channel. "Just the maturation process and watching him grow as a person, from the inside out and what he's obviously done from the golf. But from a teammate perspective, he's a leader, and his work ethic is phenomenal. He knows what he wants, and he wants to be the best player in the world. I don't know if he'll ever get there or not, but I know one thing. He'll definitely fight like crazy to get there." Perhaps the most striking evaluation came from Buddy Alexander, the legendary golf coach and former Auburn University assistant who reached for the biggest name in the sport when describing the young star. "Jackson's the best putter I've ever seen," Alexander said via Golf Channel reporter Brentley Romine. "His stroke is pretty much perfect. It kind of reminds me of some guy named Tiger Woods a little bit." By the time Jackson Koivun turned professional, he had done something remarkable through the PGA Tour University Accelerated program. The program requires 20 points to earn a PGA Tour card. Jackson Koivun finished with 42 points, more than double the threshold. In fact, he had technically crossed the 20-point mark back in 2025 and could have turned professional then, but he chose to return to Auburn University for his junior season, where he added 22 more points and finished the job he started with his teammates. When he finally did turn professional, the business world moved quickly. He arrived on tour with a $2.5 million name, image, and likeness valuation from his college days. In June of 2026, the golf apparel brand Malbon, known for its partnership with Jason Day, announced a deal with him, writing in an Instagram post that golf's next chapter is writing itself and that Jackson Koivun represents a new generation of players shaping where the game goes next. Then in July of 2026, just weeks before the 3M Open, he announced a partnership with Delta. "I'm excited to start my new chapter on the PGA Tour with Delta," he wrote on Instagram on July 7, 2026. "Golf is a journey, and I know there will be ups and downs along the way, but as long as we strive to try get better each day, we can get to where we need to be. Keep climbing." The sponsors were betting on the future, because the present was still modest. His professional results to that point were mixed. He had made 10 starts on tour events as an amateur, including a tie for 23rd place at the 2026 United States Open. As a professional, he missed the cut at the John Deere Classic in Illinois, then tied for 10th at the ISCO Championship in Kentucky, where he shot 12 under par 268 and earned $93,000. That check represented his entire career PGA Tour earnings as he arrived in Minnesota, $93,000 total. That number was about to change forever. There is one more detail you need to know before the tournament itself, and it is written on his golf glove. 3 words. Confidence. Trust, dominate, the final word was one he came up with in college as a theme for his effort on the course. A personal challenge that asked a simple question. How good could he actually be? Every award, every ranking, and every title had been an answer. The 3M Open was about to become the loudest answer yet. Through the first 2 rounds at TPC Twin Cities, Jackson Koivun positioned himself near the top of the leaderboard with steady, controlled golf. He made a bogey on his 12th hole on Friday, and although nobody knew it at the time, that would be the last bogey he made all week. He would play his final 42 holes without dropping a single shot. Then came Saturday, and Saturday changed everything. In the 3rd round, Jackson Koivun fired a blistering 10 under par 61, one of the most memorable rounds in the history of the tournament. He played the back 9 in a tournament record 28 strokes, capping the run with an eagle at the 18th hole. The round vaulted him into the lead and gave him a 3-shot cushion heading into Sunday, with none other than the world #1 lurking in the field behind him. That Saturday evening, reporters wanted to know how a 21-year-old in his 3rd professional start planned to handle the pressure of a 54-hole lead. His answer revealed the mindset that his coaches had described for years. "I just trust that my game is good enough," Jackson Koivun told ESPN's Paolo Uggetti. "I feel like I can beat anyone." It might sound a little cocky, but at the end of the day, some of those best players in the world have that internal cockiness too, and that's where I'm trying to go. He also showed respect for the man chasing him. "I'm feeling great. Excited, ready for tomorrow," he said. "It's going to be definitely a test. I'm sure some of the pins will be tucked and we've got a lot of great players behind me, but just going to stick to my game plan and try to smile." On Scottie Scheffler specifically, he added he's obviously the best in the world for a reason. "I'm sure he's going to go up there and put a good number and get in contention." He was right. Sunday at TPC Twin Cities arrived with brutal conditions, a 97-degree afternoon in Blaine, Minnesota. Jackson Koivun came out of the gate like a man who had been closing out tournaments for a decade, making birdies on 4 of his first 6 holes to extend his advantage. But 5 groups ahead of him, Scottie Scheffler, who began the final round 6 shots back, was building a storm of his own. The world number 1 played nearly flawless golf on his way to a closing 8 under par 63, and as his name climbed the leaderboard, the enormous galleries began sending their message toward the final group. Scottie's coming. Scottie's coming. The most important moment of the entire week may have arrived at the 9th hole. Jackson Koivun's approach shot landed in the sand, leaving him a 15-foot putt just to save par with the pressure mounting and the scoreboard in full view. He buried it. "Might be the biggest putt I made all week," Jackson Koivun said. "Scoreboard was right there, and I saw exactly how I stood. If I missed that, then I only had a 2-shot lead, where last time I checked I had a 5-shot lead. So making that was huge for my momentum." That par save gave him an energy boost for the back 9, and he used it. He made a key birdie at the 12th hole. Meanwhile, Scottie Scheffler suffered a moment of pure cruelty at the 14th hole, where a 5-foot birdie putt lipped in and out of the cup. Jackson Koivun then delivered the statement blow at the 16th hole, a short par 4, where he drove the grain with a 300-yard tee shot and set up another birdie to reach 25 under par. That birdie dropped while Scottie Scheffler was still conducting his post-round interview, and it effectively ended the chase. Only the 18th hole remained, and for the first time all week, the nerves showed. Jackson Koivun hit a poor drive, appearing to take a divot with his driver, and had to scramble. He was left with a 13-foot putt for par to close out the championship. He poured it in and released a fist pump as the emotion finally broke through. "On 18, I had quite a few nerves and just kind of got it down there. Then I knew where I stood and what I had to do to secure the win. But it never really feels like you're going to win until you make the putt, and that's kind of when all the emotions come crashing down on you," Jackson Koivun said. "I think I did a really good job this week of staying level-headed, but I felt like that was an appropriate time to show some emotions. The final numbers were staggering." Jackson Koivun finished at 25 under par 259, a new 72-hole tournament scoring record, breaking the previous mark of 24 under par 260 set by Lee Hodges in 2023. Scottie Scheffler finished alone in second at 22 under par, his 5th runner-up finish of the season, with his lone victory of the year coming at the American Express in California. Hideki Matsuyama, Brian Harman, Chandler Phillips, and Denny McCarthy tied for 3rd at 20 under par. Scottie Scheffler was honest about where the tournament slipped away from him. "I did what I could today," he said after the round. "My back 9 Friday and front 9 Saturday cost me, but I put up a good fight, and the world number 1 made a point of crediting the young man who beat him. Anytime you're trying to win for the first time, it's awfully difficult, especially for a young guy coming out of college," Scottie Scheffler said. "I think that shows not only how talented of a player he is, but the mental strength he has as well." He also spoke about the wave of talent arriving from the college ranks. "When you see the guys come out of college, they're really, really prepared. Even more prepared than we were coming out years ago," he said, adding, "We're seeing a ton of talent coming up from the college ranks and PGA Tour U. I think it's really good for the sport and really good for our tour as well." The scale of what Jackson Koivun accomplished takes time to absorb. According to ESPN, he became the youngest American to win a PGA Tour event by multiple shots in 94 years, since 20-year-old Ralph Goldall won the Arizona Open by 5 shots in 1932. He became the 7th first-time winner of the season and the 4th rookie winner. He needed only 3 professional starts to reach the winner's circle, one of the fastest breakthroughs in recent memory. Then there was the money. The 3M Open carried a total purse of $8.8 million, and the champion's share came to $1,584,000. Remember, Jackson Koivun arrived in Minnesota with $93,000 in career earnings. In one afternoon, he multiplied that figure roughly 17 times over. The victory also carried enormous consequences for his season, jumping him 124 spots in the FedEx Cup standings to number 70, which is the final position above the playoff cut line with 2 regular season events remaining. But the moments people will remember from that Sunday were not about money or rankings. After the winning putt fell, Jackson Koivun hugged his father, George Koivun, on the course. His mother, Megan Koivun, was unable to attend the tournament, so her son called her on FaceTime from the green. "She was crying," Jackson Koivun said. "I was trying to make out a little bit of what she said, but she kept saying how proud she was. Those two were just my rocks." His mother had summed up the family's journey earlier that same day. "It's been a pretty cool ride," Megan Koivun told ESPN's Paolo Uggetti. "We don't put any pressure on. He's our only child, and we gave him everything we could. It's just wonderful to see his dreams coming true." And in a celebration that could only happen in the land of 10,000 lakes, the new champion marked his first PGA Tour victory by fishing in the pond beside the 18th green. When he reflected on the win, Jackson Koivun returned to the mindset that carried him. "That's what we train for," he said. "That's the position we all strive to be in even through college. It's like you want to be leading a PGA Tour event, and that's what you train for, you work for. Once you're finally in it, you've just got to keep your head down and commit to every single golf shot. Fortunately, it worked out for me today. The road ahead comes quickly." Jackson Koivun will play the Rocket Classic next week, followed by the Wyndham Championship in his home state of North Carolina with the FedEx Cup playoffs on the line. The 3 words on his glove have already been proven true once at the highest level. He had the confidence. He trusted his game. And on Sunday at the 3M Open against the best golfer in the world, he dominated. His own explanation of his success might be the most telling thing he said all week. "Sometimes I watch guys hit on the range and I don't feel like I'm the most talented out there, but if I can go out there and believe and use my brain to my advantage, then that's definitely kind of like a superpower," Jackson Koivun said. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to the channel for more golf storytelling and drop your prediction in the comments below. How many PGA Tour victories does Jackson Koivun collect before he turns 25 years old?